Hello, hello. See who's hanging out in Facebook land this morning. Let's not listen to myself talk. Well, hi, Mary. How are you? Good morning, good morning. So this is the dragon from our new release, and it's called Limitless because of this sentiments. Once you become fearless, life becomes limitless. I just really, really love that. Good morning, Melissa. This one says, trust me, it's going to be okay. This one says, it's okay to not be okay. This one says, having a luck dragon with you is the only way to go on a quest. And that's a quote from the Never Ending Story. This one says, everyone wants the fairy tale, but don't forget there are always dragons in those stories. And there is so many fairy tales. And then this one says, in life you need the courage of dragons. Wait, let me try that again. In life, you need the courage to fight dragons, the ones who live inside and the ones who live outside. I really, really, really liked this. I thought it was very poignant and important. So that's what we're going to be coloring today is this dude and his dragon. So we're going to get started. I'm going to start, I don't even know where my color blend stand is. Is that crazy? Oh, I think it might be in my drawer. Yep, here it is. Like I cleaned up and know what I'm doing and everything, right? Crazy. So I'm going to start by coloring the dude's skin because that's an easy place to start. See if people are awake and getting where they want to be. Waking up and hanging out with us. Let's do E21. Where's my E21? There we go. Oh, thank you, Mary. It's been quite a struggle, let me tell you. So I'm going to use a little bit of a different skin blend today. And hopefully if I set this off to the side, you guys can still see it. Yeah, I've been trying really hard to get in shape. Hey, big sister, how are you doing? I hope you're all right. Hope you're healing well. Mom told told me you went to the surgeon. Love to know how that went. Anyway, so I've been working out very consistently for the last couple of months. I haven't lost anything to speak of. Hey, Lauren. But that's okay because trying to not focus on that. I love this dude with his dragon. I think that it just needed to be. I love that he's crouching underneath the dragon, that the dragon's protecting him. I love the look of anger on the dragon's face. I just really love everything about this stamp. So if you're not a fan, I'm sorry. But I think this is an awesome stamp. I think it's a good encouragement stamp. And right now I feel like a lot of us could really use some encouragement. So here we are. Hey, Milligan. So the amount of skin that is on this dude right now, like it's kind of tiny. So I'll be done coloring this very quickly as far as his skin goes. So I would love for y'all to tell me what color of dragon you would like. and then I will start coloring the dragon. A pink dragon. Didn't you just color a pink dragon? Everybody's saying pink. Blue. See, me too, Lauren. I like that it's not like a cutesy dragon. I like that it's more, I hate to say realistic because, I mean, how realistic can you be? I don't know what hummingbird colors are. There's hummingbirds are like literally every color. Are you saying you want a rainbow dragon? So yeah, I guess so, right? I mean, seriously, haven't you seen hummingbirds of every color? I have. I think I know what you're talking about though, that kind of like oil slick color, the like green, blue, iridescent looking type color thing. All right. I do not like how his hand came out, so I'm going to go back to my E21 and kind of shade that a little bit more. All right. There we go. All right, so we have a lot of people that said pink. We have a couple people that said blue. I don't know what to go with, so I might go with both. We feel like a blue-green morphing into pink kind of dragon with hummingbird-ish colors. Okay, I can do this. All right. Blue-green morphing into hummingbird-ish colors and then pink. We can make that happen, right? That doesn't sound like a hot mess, does it? I want this to go into green. Time to consult the good old hex chart. Where even is my hex chart? Does anybody? Oh, there it is. I'm going to use GO2. That's what I want to use. Okay. Right? Hey, Rinska. A challenge for me this morning. All right. Here we go. This is about to happen. So what's going to happen is I'm going to start doing like stipling, but I like his wings to be smooth, just like I did on the packaging. So this is all stippled or pepper shaded, whatever you want to call it, but his wings are smooth because I feel like the wings are not scaly. But I think on the little outer ridge of this, I might actually make it scaly on the back of those. But then the insides of these, I like them to be smooth. I feel like that's kind of how it rolls. A challenge for you too. So we're going to start there. We're going to see how this turns out. Could be a hot mess. Could be like our new favorite color. So when I stipple or pepper shade, I try to always throw a couple. And what that means is, see how these ones are like out here? Because scales or anything like that, they catch the light in very different ways. So I'm going to go in and we're going to look at all of this, where his wing is, or her wing is. We're going to put some shading in. also on this side. Okay, so he has all of these little scales. Hopefully my video didn't cut out because I just got a message and then it kicked my video out. Yeah, that's right, Lauren. Kind of like a bat wing, something like that. Yeah, exactly. Okay. There we go. Okay. Then I'm going to come up here. Just a little bit of shading. I'm going to do the same thing here. I know there's no like ridge here per se, but I'm going to go ahead and shade it in like there is. Okay. All right. So then I'm going to kind of do the same thing where these little, where his talons come out, or her talons. I never know if these are male or female. I guess it really doesn't matter. Okay. So there's that. Then this part where the wing is, I think I'm going to go ahead and shade this one the same way. I know I'm kind of all over the place today. Don't mind me. Okay. And then where this connects to the dragon's body, I'm going to add that same shading as well. Y'all are being quiet. What's going on? So I know that Sandy told you about our harrowing drive to the airport in New Jersey. Did y'all hear that story? That was probably one of the best stories from the whole weekend, from the show that we were at. Yes. I don't think that he was high at the time, but there had for sure been some dope smoked in that car. A lot of it, and fairly recently. Okay. So then we're going to come forward off of the shoulder. It sounded like it. You're crafting? What are you crafting, Lauren? Y'all, I'm tired. I'm still sleepy. I just can't help it. Okay, so this is where his other leg comes out. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna put a little bit of shadowing around the guy. Not a lot. I don't know if y'all can hear the TV in the living room. My husband's watching fights. UFC fights. They must be across the pond somewhere. Okay. Then I'm going to come in behind his head. And shading like this does take a while because, I mean, you're just using little dots. But you don't have to worry about that like super smooth shading. A Halloween card, guest designing for Doodles Paper Playground. Well, congratulations. I'm also going to come behind these little plates on his back, or spikes, and just throw a couple dots. I do love this technique for a lot of different things. I think this was one of the only techniques that I liked in art class growing up. Oh, you have a cold? That is boo. Complete thumbs down to that. 0 stars. Do not recommend. So then I come back and I just start going over all of that black pepper shading that I had put in there. Notice that with this layer, I'm going to move much, much faster. And that's because I don't want my brain to create a pattern. If you go really slow, your brain will automatically create a dot pattern. And so you will have very even and consistent dots, which, I mean, definitely has its place, but not when I'm doing scales. I want them to be a little bit more random than that. So I teach this in my classes when I teach at the expo as well, is your brain will automatically try to create a pattern, whether you're making flowers or doing any of the millions of other things we do. It's just hardwired in. And so it's nothing that you can really help. And so your brain will always try to make some sort of a pattern to make this happen. So if you move fast, your brain is less likely to be able to complete that pattern. And so you won't have completely uniform scales. All my psychology and law enforcement degrees at work right there. You're welcome. So this to me is super, super soothing. I really like coloring like this. Although eventually it does start to hurt my wrist and my hand after a long time. That's after coloring like a dragon and a mermaid and something else though. But yeah, right, you gotta trick that old brain. So if I get really quiet, just comment and then I'll talk again. But I just kind of zone out and just keep going, just keep moving on this. And eventually you're gonna fill it in. I'm not trying to fill this all the way in with green though, because remember, we're gonna morph this into pink. So know that I'm gonna finish with a lot of white space left. It's weird when y'all are quiet. I gotta tell you. Who else is here? Who snuck in? There's 8 people here, and I'm only talking to Lauren and Natalie right now. I know Milligan's here somewhere. You're usually the peanut gallery. What's up, my friend? I am still working on your blanket, Michelle. I'm listening to my husband and my son chat about what they want for dinner. Your knitting group while watching? Our next show, I know, right? You're concentrating on what I'm doing. Who's got the mad face? Who did the mad face? No, they do not cook it. They are not. My son does like to cook, so he's pretty good at it. He'll be 16 here the next week, so he's a pretty good cook. He's a really good griller, barbecue. So if something involves barbecuing something, he's really good at that. And he's really good at cooking breakfast foods, which I know sounds kind of odd, but he's really good at like eggs and sausage and bacon and all that stuff. Savory breakfast foods. My husband, he is not a cook. We make fun of him a lot. Because, like, even when he makes a sandwich, his sandwich is, like, meat and cheese and bread. Yes, they are discussing what they want me to make. Or, my husband mentioned going to Costco, so they might be conspiring on what pre-made Costco thing to get, which is fine by me, because I feel like coloring today. And I got a Bible from the Faith and Art Shop. Sandy got it for me. And it's this huge spiral bound Bible. I want to say it's like 12 by 12. It's like almost that big. And it's spiral bound, so it lays flat. And it has like 3.5-inch margins. So you can do cool stuff with it. Bible journal and all that scenario. And perhaps the coolest thing is the paper is like 70% thicker. So even though it's still like traditional kind of Bible paper, you know, that kind of rice paper stuff, it's much, much thicker than normal. So I want to start Bible journaling some stuff. So I've been asking friends their favorite Bible verses so that I can decorate a page for each of my friends in this Bible. So I'm really excited about getting started on it. And I'm not much of a Bible reader, which is odd because I am a reader. And I read like 60 books, 50, 60 books a year. But I think because it's like such an intimidating book to read. So, I did start reading the Apocalyptics though, so there's that. But anyways, so I will be decorating pages for many, many different people. And I think it's a great way to kind of chronicle how people affect your life by using their favorite verse. It kind of shows something about them. And so I think it'll be beautiful when I'm done. I've only done one page so far, and that is for my pal Lena. So I used the Queen Bee stamp set, and it's covered in bees and flowers and We're from California, so it's got California poppies in it. I'll show you guys. I'll post a picture if you want me to. Very cool gift from my bestie Sandy. And Joy Wilson, who found these Bibles for us. And so we use the Faith and Art Shop, and they are on Facebook, and they're always at the shows with us. And to answer your question, our next show is in Mesa, Arizona, which will be super duper fun because we have lots of sweeties in Mesa and in Scottsdale and in Phoenix and stuff. So I assume they'll all be traveling. I haven't posted pictures of this one at all, so I'm more than happy to post pictures, and I can go get it and show it to you guys when I'm done coloring this dragon. This dragon will probably end up in that Bible. So, yeah, there's that. So I'm itching to do a page. Hi, Marlene. How are you? It is an exceedingly large Bible, though. I will tell you that. It's not necessarily one you could travel with. It is also cool, though, too, because it's in a new, like a modern English version of it. So yes, I know it's degraded yet again because it's translated yet again. But I like some of the ways that they have worded some of the verses that, you know, that I'm used to, that I know. How are you guys liking this? There's one in Irving. I mean, I know that's not super close, but we will be going to the one in Irving next month. So that should be fun. I know it's still a couple hours, but thanks, Rinska. So if you notice, I'm holding the marker pretty vertically, and that's so that I can get the smallest dots. If I hold it sideways like this, I'm going to get bigger dots, right? It is just a few hours away. Not like Texas is a huge old state or nothing. Not like it could be its own country. Whatever. I think people in Texas are more used to driving like, oh, it's just a couple hours away. Where people in Idaho are like, oh my God, a couple of hours? That's like an all-day trip. And so we would be less likely to travel. Because like right now, if somebody told me, oh, there's like an event in, you know, like Twin Falls, I'd be like, ugh, that's so far away. But maybe because our cities are so far away. There's like a long time between populated cities in Idaho. Not even gonna lie. Lots of farms. They're still talking about dinner. That's funny. I forgot the wings. You should, Lauren. You absolutely, absolutely should. You would have a blast. And so connect with Michelle Brownstein, and they're going to do like the crop and the mega make and take and all that. And so you should connect with them because I'm sure there's room at their table and you can have a whole on weekend full of fun with sweeties. And of course, Sandy and I will be there, working in the booth. Probably Angela is gonna go. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who else all is gonna go, but I mean, there's a ton of sweeties in Texas. So you would definitely be in good company. And I don't know, but I just love meeting people face to face. I think I think it's still the dispatcher in me. Like, I loved being able, I heard everybody's voices all the time. Thanks, Melissa. I'm so sad I didn't get to meet you in Chicago. Like, so stinking sad. Like, still, like, in mourning over that. I've known Melissa, you guys, online for probably, like, 8 years-ish, maybe longer. And we were finally going to be able to meet, and she got sick. And it was so sad. Anyways, though, so as a dispatcher, I always heard people's voices. And you're in a cinder block room. And so you never really get to see people. You just hear their voices. And so I can read a lot from a person from their voice. But there's something extra to just being able to see their face and add a, face to the name kind of thing. And nobody looks like they do on Facebook. So I love when people come up to me and they're like, hey, I'm Denise from Facebook. This one lady came up to me, I think it was in Chicago, I cannot remember. And she was like, hey, I'm such and such from Facebook. And I'm like, okay. And she was like, my profile picture is the Grinch flipping you off. And I'm like, oh my God, I totally know you. So it definitely changes things. Oh. Hola, Monica. ¿Cómo te va? Oh, man. Well, someday we might be doing some other shows in Texas too. Not sure when or where or what. But since Sandy lives in Rowlett, it's easier for us to travel from Texas. I mean, I'm in Idaho, so it's not necessarily easy for me, but I fly to her house and stay, and then we use her home as like home base. So I know I am sniffly all of a sudden. I haven't been sniffly today at all, but who knows? So as you guys know, some of you that follow my personal account know that I've been on this like health journey. I won't call it weight loss, even though that's kind of what I'm focusing on, is I want some weight loss. But I told my husband I want to get skinny, and he says, no, you want to get healthy. And I said, no, I pretty much want to be skinny. And he was like, no, you don't. You want to be healthy. Nobody likes skinny. I'm like, whatever. Semantics. You're lurking. And so, anyways, after the whole skinny is healthy debate, he's right. I'm just not going to let him, know that. Thanks, Lauren. I worked out this morning and I did an hour of cardio, which I know a lot of you will go, an hour of cardio. But to me, I actually like it. I used to be a runner. I used to do track. And so just kind of like getting on the treadmill and just sort of like disengaging from everything and turning up the music and just kind of rocking out and running or jogging or walking, because I do a lot more walking than I do the other two. It just helps me like focus. And so I've made it like my morning routine now. I get up and I drink my coffee, and I'm only drinking 1 cup of coffee a day, not because, like, if I want more, I go get more, but because by the time I'm done with everything else in my day, I'm just not necessarily into coffee anymore. Right, Milligan? Go for healthy. I get it, understand, whatever. So I get up and I drink my cup of coffee, and while I'm doing that is when I like surf Facebook and Instagram and watch a couple of TikToks and, you know, answer any emails I have and all of that stuff. So that's my morning. And then I go out and I work out, and I come inside. And so our gym is in our garage, and it's fairly temperature controlled. So it's warmer out there. Hi, Archie. It's warmer out there, obviously, than the house, but it's not like super bad. And when I work out, I don't mind being like in the heat. So I know it's crazy, but just roll with me. And so when I'm done working out, I come inside and I have my protein shake. And then as I'm drinking my protein shake, I catch up on emails or any Facebook comments or anything that I may have missed earlier. And I start getting into like work mode. And so that's when I start dealing with, you know, like, oh, I have this sweet sentiment email to answer, and I have that, and blah, 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 blah. So then after that, and then usually I answer Sandy at that point. Because I usually have like an email or messages from the night, because she stays up much later than I do. And so she will leave me messages like, hey, when you get up in the morning, this and this and this is a priority, and this and this and this, and, you know, whatever needs to be done. Or, hey, I talked to this person, or, you know, whatever. So I use that time to start like my Sandy list, or at least start thinking about it and getting ready for that. This green totally adds that oil slick feel to this. It's really awesome. So then I go in and I shower once I'm done with my protein shake, and then I come in and I do all of the shipping. So anything that needs to be shipped out from the previous day, I try to get all the shipping done in the morning, prior to the postal guy coming. So there's that. And then, and he's not always consistent on when he comes. So, you know, sometimes I have to be really fast with the shipping. Sometimes I can be a little bit more leisurely. Then after that, I'm in total work mode. So that's when, if it's a weekend, then that's when it's time to do the live. If it's not a weekend, then it's time to, you know, start doing admin stuff for Sweet Sentiment. So today I have to run to Hobby Lobby, and I have to, not for myself, I have to get a punch because I'm making new labels for a new item that's going in our shop. And then I have to work on cleaning some files off of the computer, so I have to put those into the Google Drive. And I have a couple of stamp sets that I need to start working on and all of that kind of stuff. Then, usually in between sometime there, I'll actually eat lunch, which when I go to Hobby Lobby, my husband wants to go to Costco, so that's going to take some time out of my day. Blech. I hate going to Costco. But that's when I start doing Ooh, this is super cool. I really like this. Eat lunch and then, you know, finish whatever I'm working on. So stamp sets or it's very rarely coloring. It's usually all computer type work. Sandy and I are usually on the phone at least a few times a day, discussing either, you know, things we need to order or stuff for shows or design team stuff or any myriad of things that come up that day. So we are constantly on and off the phone, or we just video call each other and then we just leave the videos on. And that way, like if I walk back into my office, Sandy's right there. And so I'm like, hey, I need this, or hey, we need that, or, you know, whatever. So more often than not, we just have video on and we always have our phone just sitting there on video so we can talk while we're doing stuff. So with the 2 shows that we just had back to back, we have lots of stuff that we had to and have to get done. So usually we're running inventories and stuff like that. Sounds super boring, I know. Then when all of that is done, it's usually about time for my husband to get home from work. So I go and make dinner. He comes home from work, and that's usually like the end of my sweet sentiment day. But then that's the time when I get to do stuff like for myself. So sometimes I find myself back in my craft room, or I take my markers out to the living room and I find things to color. A lot of the times I'm coloring for sweet sentiment, so it's not necessarily for myself. Like coloring a release or packaging or things that like we want to draw attention to. So like older stamp sets that were that are not getting any love. So we recolor them so that it brings them back up into the spotlight for y'all so you can see them. Or when we get like a restock or something like that. And then I do that until it's bedtime. And bedtime is fairly early around here because we go to bed really early and wake up really early. And so, thanks, Lauren, for the discipline comment. So yeah, since we go to bed fairly early, it's usually about time for Sandy's live. And so I will watch a little bit of Sandy's live and then pretty much rack out from there. I don't necessarily fall asleep that early, but I have to start my wind down process or I don't fall asleep. So it usually takes me about 4-ish hours. That's a lie. I was looking at RVO4. It usually, hey Natalie. It usually takes me, that's so funny. I was looking at RVO4, so I said 4 hours. It usually takes me about 2 hours or so to fall asleep. So, it's a little bit difficult for me. So I read. You're cleaning your chicken coop at the same time. So I read a book. And so I read a lot of books a year. Monica, the hex chart is like the most helpful Copic coloring device ever in the world. I strongly suggest it. Now, I made the mini ones and put the gray here. I mean, obviously, when you buy the hex chart, you can take your big one, shrink it down, and put the mini one here. Or if you don't want to go through the work, just show me your receipt that you bought the hex chart, and I'll send you my mini ones. So that is a day in the life of me. Not that y'all asked for it, but that's pretty much my day and how it runs. Yeah, you should totally use one. I mean, like, those of us who are pretty advanced in coloring, like Monica, I know you are, it it will bring a lot of new color blends forth for you that you would have not thought of before, which is super duper awesome. For those that are more new to coloring, it really helps you figure out how the markers interact with one another and what they do. You're advanced. You've been coloring for a long time, Monica. Listening a lot to audiobooks. I can listen and do things at the same time. Yes. I do like audiobooks and podcasts while I'm crafting. It's hard for me to take in visual content while I'm crafting. I still do, but it's definitely more of a challenge for me to take in visual content while I'm crafting. Because I focus, when I color, I focus so much on the coloring. So I'm just going to start dappling some of this pink. And notice I'm holding the marker really close to the nib. And I'm holding it very vertical. So I'm sorry that my big hands are in the way and you're not going to be able to see this super well. But you'll see when I lift my hand. Just a few scales here and there. Some place to start at with the pink. I'm coloring my hex chart currently to help me get colors that coordinate together. I have issues with matching colors. Yes, and that's what the hex chart will do, is it will help you see, you know, what goes together, what matches, what's a little bit darker. It helps you pull out your color blends. So you can see what's darker and what's lighter and what's gonna blend, what's gonna shadow, all of that kind of stuff. So I told you that whole story about my day in order to tell you that when I got home from the whole Costco Hobby Lobby experience, I plan on making a page in my Bible journal, or at least coloring an image for that page. And I don't know whose verse I'm going to do first. Hi, Sonia. Oops, sorry. I just totally kicked the camera super hard, so my bad. I was so excited that Sonia came on that I just jumped. No, I was putting my feet up, if we're being honest. He looks like he has chicken pox right now. Time to dinner and friends. Big hugs to everyone. Take care of you. Have a lovely day. Well, you have a lovely day as well. Look, it's my cute little chicken pox dragon. So I'm also going to take this time to start shading in his head. Or her head. I like doing the two-tone dragon and making the head a different color. I don't know why. I just do, so roll with me on this. So I don't really know what page I'm going to do in my Bible journal, but I'm going to do something. Sandy got the same one too, so just so you all know, you can pressure her into doing pages too. Throwing you under the bus, bestie. That is if you're still here watching. recently we've both bought multiple Bibles to Bible journal in, and I've done more pages than Sandy because she has done none. But she is coloring her cover. One of the ones that she got has this really cool cover on it that's like has birds and fruit and all of this stuff, and the background on it, leaves and trees and just all the things. And she has been coloring that, and it looks stinking gorgeous. So I will say that. But she's got to get back in it. It is mentally difficult for me to color in a Bible, though, because I was always told, like, you don't deface your Bible. So it's a little bit hard for me to be like, okay, I'm going to color in my Bible now that I'm an adult and it's trendy. Hey, Christina. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. I don't think it's morning where you're at. I don't remember where you're at. There is a girl riding down the sidewalk on one of those like one-wheeled skateboard things, and her dog is pulling her. And that is what Archie decided he was going to go bark at. Archie wants to warn them that that is dangerous, that that behavior is not okay. And of course, she's going back and forth in front of the house, so you guys are going to hear lots of Archie barking. Everybody's being quiet again. Where did y'all go? Okay, so back to the dots. I think I'm going to make all of these pink as well. Now it's a girl because she has pink toenails. I mean, I guess guys could have pink toenails too. Just depends on what you decide to color your toenails that day, huh? If you're a dragon, ain't nobody gonna say nothing. Your old one's looking shabby. You need to do it on Sweet Sentiment paper, Melissa, because you color on Sweet Sentiment paper. So if you color on Sweet Sentiment paper, your hex chart needs to be on Sweet Sentiment paper so you can see how the markers are going to react or how they're going to look on that paper. This is one of my favorite markers, guys, because it is absolutely 100% fluorescent. What is the tattoo? This tattoo, it's a little bear because my husband's name is Barry, and then a blue line because he's a police officer. And I just realized that I didn't put my rings on today, so thanks for that. I usually always have my rings on. Weird. Thanks. Yep, Melissa, you gotta sacrifice a piece of Sweet Sentiment paper because you color on it, you need to know what your markers are going to look like on it. Because if you color on some other paper, they're going to look a different color. Ooh, how fun is this? This is our oil slick slash hummingbird slash pink dragon. Are you loving it, Lauren? Good. I like that it's unexpected. That's why I never come into these with like a plan. It's so rare that I come into a live video with a plan. And people always ask me that. What are you going to color? Or what do you know, what markers are you going to use? Or other people who do videos are like, how do you do that? And I'm like, because I like to just see what happens. I like to see organically what comes about. And that's why I love taking suggestions from y'all, because I mean, who would have ever come up with an oil slick hummingbird, blue, green, teal, pink dragon? Not me. And so, but then look at how cool this is starting to look. It's very awesome. Then we're going to have to think of the guy's clothing and what color clothing he's going to be wearing. This dragon very much reminds me of like, this is his mom and she's protecting him. Maybe this will be for my son's birthday card. Hi, Cheryl. That's funny. I was wondering where you were at. I almost had somebody text you. But then I figured you were probably doing something, so I wasn't going to bug you. Oh my gosh, Sandy, did you see that thing about Siri that I sent you today? That TikTok about Siri? I think it's so us. It's from the Holderness family, and she's sitting on the couch. Kim is sitting on the couch, and Siri goes, "It's time to stand." And she's like, "You know what, Siri? Forget it." And it was, you know, it's an Apple Watch thing. Time to stand up. And then the Siri, they put on like a Siri voice, and it's like, "It's okay. I understand. Let me just go ahead and close all of your rings for you. And by the way, I just DoorDashed dinner, so it should be here soon. And I think you should rest for the rest of the day and not worry about anything else." And she was like, "Yeah, that's what I'm talking about." I'm up against Tim and his new pencils. Well, there you go. What kind of pencils are they? I have so many sets of pencils. I don't know if I could be in the drawing for new pencils. The Copic coloring, hadn't picked them up in over a year for some unknown reason. You know, sometimes people go through that, and that's okay. So just, I would say it's like riding a bike, but we all know it's not. So just get back in it. Watch a bunch of videos, decide what you like, and go for it. Wordless watercolor pencils. Oh, they're more like crayons. Lauren, thank you. I did not realize that his video was the same time as mine. He didn't clear that with me. He didn't ask first. I would have told him. Just kidding. I'd have been like, look, dude, woodless. Oh, they're woodless. Oh, yeah, absolutely, Milligan. Woodless pencils. Alrighty then. I've done lives with pencils before. They're just kind of a marathon because pencil coloring does take a long time because you have to work in so many layers. But the Sweet Sentiment craft paper is being made right now as we speak, a fresh batch of it. And so as soon as I get that batch, I will absolutely do a pencil video for you. I love coloring with pencils. Pencil coloring for me is like mental health therapy. You have to slow down, you have to pay attention, you have to be methodical. This dragon would probably take me like 3 hours to pencil color. Not even gonna lie. I don't know what it is about pencil coloring, but I truly, truly enjoy it. And I usually don't do a lot of pencil coloring, like teaching pencil coloring, because it is so methodical, it tends to turn people off. But if you request it and you're wanting it, I am more than happy to teach some pencil coloring. Yes, pencil coloring, it is a lot in how you want to fine tune it. I am very methodical with my pencils. I want it, yay, Melissa, that makes me happy. It is therapeutic, right, Lauren? It is. It's very, I don't know. I don't quite know how to put it into words, but it's definitely something else. Now, I've chosen this RVO2 because see how it really washes out those colors? And that's what gives you the texture and striation in those wings. It's also going to do the same thing for the face, obviously. It works almost like a colorless blender. So wherever you touch, it's going to kind of push that color away. Now, see how the dragon doesn't have a whole lot of color in him? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to brush in this pink. And that's going to make all of this kind of, thank you. Pencils will never look like Copics, and that could be why you are so methodical. No, I just really like a specific finish with my pencils, and I like the super vibrant, deep colors that I can achieve with them. And so I color with pencils in a specific way to achieve that. I don't know if I'm expressing myself very well, but it's a finish that you can only get with pencils. And no, pencils will never be Copics. And I don't want them to be. I like that it's a very different medium. I'm a little bit more free and artistic with my Copics. My pencils, I'm not that way with. Okay, so I've overwashed this entire thing with pink. And see how it's given it a specific hue. So what I'm going to go do now is I'm going to go back to this G02. And I'm going to add a little bit of this green texture back in. I want to really pull that green color forward. I'm also going to give him a little green eye. There we go. And I want to overlap these green and pink scales. Notice I'm going really, really fast with this. Again, I do not want my brain to create a specific pattern. So I'm just going in and adding some of the texture back in that pink marker washed out and overlapping these pink and green spots to kind of give them a smoother transition. There we go. And there's our dragon. I love my polychromos. That's exactly what I color with. I have Prismacolor pencils. Hey, Charlene. I have Prismacolor pencils, but I don't like the waxy finish of them. To me, it's like coloring with crayons. I know, I don't know if it's Mr. or Mrs. Dragon, but there it is. I like the firmness of the polychromo. And I went out of the lines here, so push that back in. All right, so now we're down to coloring our dude and what color hair and clothing he needs. So I'm fairly certain that I'm gonna start I haven't tried polys. Polys are the best. Right? Yeah, if you ever get a hankering to give away a whole set of polys, that'd be great. I'd appreciate that. He needs orange clothing. Why does he need orange clothing? Is there a specific reason behind that? Or just because you like the color orange? Oh, and I'm giving him super pedestrian colored hair because you asked for wild colored hair. So here is a brown. He's not a prison escapee. You lent out a full set of polys? What the heck? He's not a prison escapee. I know, because he told me his story. Can you do a silver? I mean, I can do gray. It's really hard to achieve metallics. I'm putting him in jeans right now. Fantasy, he is, and he looks like Jason Statham. Well, Jason Statham never gets caught. Remember, he's not in prison. Because he's a badass. Never tried any pencil other than Prismacolor and Spectrum Noir. Prismacolor is my favorite, and I figure I don't try any other, I won't spend money. You really, really, really need to try polychromos. I'm sorry, but you really, really do. They are amazing. And if you like your Prismacolors, you will love your polychromes. That's just how that's gonna work. Polychromos, so you know, I always use this analogy, but you know, like in school, when there was the kid that had the Crayola crayons, and then there was the kid that had the Rose Art crayons. Polys are the Crayolas, and Prismacolors are the Rose Art. To me, anyways. Now, some people are different. I understand. And some people can just make anything look good. I've seen people use Crayola colored pencils and blow anybody else out of the water. Marianne, you're cracking me up. Okay. So here he is in his jeans. So now, what color shirt? It is a fair analogy. I said in my world. Not in anybody else's world, in my world. It's a totally fair analogy. To me, Prismacolors are the Rose Art crayons of the world, and Polychromos are the Crayola. But I just said there are people out there that can take any brand. They can go to the dollar store and they can buy pencils and they can make them look absolutely incredible. So, yeah. Yeah, that's my fantasy. Leather jacket look. So like a black. I could do that. I'm going to go with my cool tones then. I'm coloring under his arm. Because that's where the shadow would be around the dragon. Up his back. I'm going to go back from his collar. It's almost feeling very John Travolta-ish. Good. Shirtless. I could go with Jason Statham shirtless. That would be great. He does fly. That is true. I don't know, I think it was just the leather jacket thing, and I was thinking like Grease. Since the whole Olivia Newton-John thing, Grease has been, you know, all over the news and stuff, so it just made me think of it. Are you still singing to Jason Statham there, Marianne? If only he knew we were talking about him. He's an actor, Lauren. He does lots of action movies. Very fast-paced. He's one of those anti-heroes. Like, he's a bad guy, but you still root for him because he's a good bad guy. And then I'm going to use C1. The word of the day is fantasy. Near, far. Okay. This is my colorless blender, and I'm just going to take some color out of his eye because it looks really weird that there's skin color in there. And then I'm going to take this C3 and I'm going to add to the back of the eye of the dragon. And then again with the colorless blender to soften that harsh edge. And there is our dragon. I used a billion gajillion markers, which is normal for me, so that's nothing new. And we have two different dragons. Look at that. Super duper cool. I know, I do love the wings. So did you guys want me to go grab that Bible really fast so you can see the page that I did, or you want me to just post a picture? What did Lauren say? Oh, who was Jason Statham? Right? See, now you know how he is. Yes, you have to Google him because he is definitely a face that you recognize. You want me to go get the Bible, Marianne? Or you want me to just post a picture later? Okay, hold on a second. I'll run out and get it. One moment. Okay, I'm back. Go get the Bible. Zoom out a little bit so you can see it. There you go. He makes appearances regularly in your dreams. I colored an extra B. So this is for Lena. This is her favorite verse. And it says, Jesus looked at them and said, with man, this is impossible, but with God, all things are possible. And so I used the Queen Bee set. I used a couple of different stencils in the back with, of course, wild honey, mustard seed, and ground espresso. And my Rabbit Hole Designs blending brushes. I love these brushes. You guys hear me talk about it all the time. And they're labeled. I have one for every distress and distress oxiding. So anyways, this is the Queen Bee set. And then I colored extra bees. I just stamped them out and colored them. I used the geometric from the set. And I used some of our enamel dots. These are the matte finish enamel dots, and glued them on there. This is just a piece of whatever this stuff is, burlap. And then some ribbon, and that's it. That's everything. So there it is. And you can see when you turn the page, I mean, obviously there's, you know, for me pushing the burlap and stuff on, but none of the inks came through. So super duper cool. But like I said, this is a huge, huge, huge Bible. It is, what is this? 10 by 10? Yeah, I think it's 10 by 10. So very, very large. But I think this dragon might end up in here, or, I know, right? It's very, very cool. It's heavy, but I love that it lays flat. So, yeah, it's very cool. Faith and Art Shop is where I got it. I follow them on here so you can find them. I also got this highlighter from them, and it's like a gel. It's almost like a crayon. It's super cool. Super, super cool. So yeah, I got that. But anyways, this is just colored on Sweet Sentiment paper, and it is all glued in with the Barely Art glue, because this is the best glue around. So we have this in stock. The Sweet Sentiment paper is out of stock right now, but we have a fresh batch headed to us right now. And then this is just ribbon that I got at, you know, Hobby Lobby or Michael's. And then, of course, our enamel dots. And then the burlap is from, like, the dollar bin at Hobby Lobby or Michael's or whatever. I cannot remember where I got it. Oh, yeah, I think it was at the dollar bins at Michael's. So it might have been at Target. That's why I said, oh, because it might have been at Target. But anyways, Lena's from California, so this is a nice, bright, orangey yellow California poppy, and she loves bees. That's like her favorite, so definitely that. There you go. The Illustrating Bible. I will post other pages. I'm working on a Bible for my mom, and I can show you if I can find it. There it is. I can show you a couple of pages I've done in there. Now, this is like a straight ghetto Bible. I got this from Walmart, and the verses in it are horrid. They're absolutely terrible. But that's okay, because that's fine. So I wrote a note to my mom in here, and then I just highlighted this little verse, God created mankind in his own image, and I used our earth goddess. And then this is our stencil, our mandala stencil, and this is Tim Holtz paper, and then I used a marabou crown around her. So there's that. This I thought was hilarious because the verse talks about how old Methuselah is. Yeah, it's a straight ghetto Bible, right? So this is our internet troll, and again, a bunch of Tim Holtz stuff. This is paper glazes from Picket Fence that I used, and it just talks about how old Methuselah is, so I thought that was funny. I have, so back here, a page that I wrote about. And then this is our little Where It's Warm set. And this verse talks about rain and snow. And so I used our little polar bears and a little stencil. I think the stencil's from CC Designs. A lot of glossy accents, all of that stuff. There's a few other pages that I've done in here. This is from CC Designs, so I'm working on coloring that to put in the Christmas story. This page I love. This is the Good Shepherd story. So this is an Annie Rodriguez image that I have. And so I colored it up, and I just used oxide inks on the back. And I used some masking paper to mask that off. And I think that's about all. I might have another page or two in here that I've skipped over. I know I have a page that I did that was like all stenciling. I don't recall where it is. But, oh, it might be right there. Yep, there it is. And this is our woodland mandala, or wilderness mandala, I can't remember. And I just thought that this was beautiful. And so I used another stencil and some paper glaze. And then, of course, inks. This is inked on top of gesso. And then, again, my marabou crown. So there you go. You might see more Bible journaling stuff in here in our group, just because I'm kind of addicted right now and I think it's fun. But this Bible, again, was from the Faith in Art shop. And the tabs, the sticker tabs that I bought are from the Faith in Art shop. And then, of course, the page that I did for my cousin is right here. And so I really, really love this. And I think it's super fun. So I will be contacting people in the future and asking what their favorite Bible verses is. I have a few to catch up on. And that's hopefully what I'm going to do this afternoon, like I said, and color something else for myself. But I love using the Sweet Sentiment stamps in the Bible journals because I think that a lot of them are really poignant. And I'm definitely sure that this guy will make an appearance. So thank you guys for coloring with me today. I appreciate it. And I will see you all very, very soon. Oh my gosh, I just had an idea with the Rabbit Hole Designs has the coolest cloud stencil that has ever been made. I might use their cloud stencil to make a page with this dragon. That would be awesome. Anyways, I will post this video to YouTube when I am done. And I will see you guys all tomorrow morning. Maybe we'll put him on a page tomorrow morning. What do you guys think about that? Should we Bible journal a page tomorrow with this guy? Would you guys like to do that? Awesome. I will see you tomorrow morning. Same bat channel, same bat place. 11 o'clock Mountain Time. And we'll see you then. Toodles.